Okay, so happy to be downtown Detroit. What area is this?
This would be the actual downtown, Campus Marshall. This is technically Cadillac Lodge.
So we're sitting here, we just got some hopefully some healthy tea here.
Tea.
From a place right here. My lovely wife was holding the camera. And Kahuri walked up. He says, I like your device. And I followed you on Instagram. And I remember Kahuri because that's not a common name. And so I remember your face, but I definitely remember your name for sure, man. And your business partner?
Robert. My name is Robert Newman.
So these guys are so, first of all, honored. Social media is so powerful, which is what they do for business. Because, I mean, you could be anywhere and someone will know you that can do something else strictly because of social media. So I always say that even if you don't have an e-commerce only website, you should, even if you have a brick and mortar business, you have to have an online presence. You must have an online presence. If you do not have an online presence, I'm just assuming you're something there. Because that's the only people who are not online today. And even that is going online soon, marijuana, CBD, etc. So these guys do digital marketing here in downtown. Tell us a little bit how that works. And first of all, Kahuri does a little bit more than digital marketing. I'm not sure. But I mean, you guys do digital marketing together.
Yeah.
So tell us how that works and how that can benefit the business that you're doing right now, or any business that's interested in digital marketing.
Right. So we work with big brands on social media, pretty much telling their story on social media and just giving them an online presence to connect with the younger audience, Gen Z and millennials. And that's the target demographic that we really go after, is the younger market, because we really understand it and really understand what content they produce and how to create content to reach out to that target audience. Yeah, we got into business because we realized that social media, it's something that's changing all the time. It's something that is not easy to nail down. And in a very noisy world, most business owners have a hard time understanding it because they're focusing on their own thing, which completely makes sense. And so we got into business to help as many business owners as we possibly could, at least minimum understand the space and understand how they can take advantage of all the attention. We realized, again, being a millennial myself, 23 years old, so being a millennial, I realized, okay, I knew what it was like to listen to baseball and football on the radio with my dad with entertainment. And I also know what it's like to just be addicted to Instagram. So I was sort of able to see the attention shift happen where people are really focusing a lot of their attention space. So we went into advertising because we realized that it's an easy way to manage the beliefs of your brand. It's a very easy way for you to portray your best image on social media, and then also give yourself the opportunity to be it in person. So that's the thing.
You made some really good points there. Some really good points. So when you guys said digital marketing, is it Instagram solely, or is it Instagram and Facebook?
That's a great question. It's funny, digital marketing is such a wide scope and view of marketing. So I think it's all platforms, really, especially when you focus on it's all platforms.
Because you guys are Gen Z, millennials,
right?
Which aren't necessarily heavy on Facebook, maybe.
We really like to work with Facebook and Instagram, and we know certain strategies that work well with video, especially video content. We love creating video content for social media because it's the best way to communicate with your audience is through a video. So those platforms do really well. The cost per engagement on a video on Facebook and Instagram is very low. So I would say also, elaborate on that, Facebook absolutely skews older. I would say 25 to 45, no question. Facebook and Snapchat, way younger demographic. 13 to 18, Instagram more 21 to 35. And working with those platforms, TikTok, I love TikTok. Way lower demographic, probably 8 to literally
8 years old.
8 to probably 16. I will say there are older demographics on there. They're just not catching on because if you remember Vine was that 15-second video platform for just quick comedy, essentially just quick comedy. And now TikTok has embodied that, but taken it to the next level. Honestly, TikTok is probably the only platform that still gives real, authentic, organic engagement. Meaning if I post a video and it's funny, it's gonna reach a lot of people. Now, Facebook, if I post a video and it's funny, it's going to be a lot harder for me to get any reach because they throttle all the content.
Right.
That's how Facebook is, Instagram,
You try to
YouTube.
monetize, you gotta pay for everything.
Exactly. It's a we're totally in a pay to play space.
So you think in the future TikTok will, I'm not gonna say it's gonna take over the world, but maybe it will gain more momentum, and if you have a presence on TikTok, you can kind of shift it over to Instagram.
1,000%. And it's crazy too, and you can see it happen from Vine. A lot of the biggest influencers on YouTube today absolutely came from Vine. You know who Logan Paul is? The Paul brothers? They came from Vine.
Oh wow.
They got famous on Vine making short videos, and they transferred that into YouTube, and now their career is monumentally successful.
So how do the companies here receive you guys? Talking about
We're so brick and mortar.
So how do they understand what you're talking about?
Another great question. So it kind of depends. But I would say mostly it's using the side of lack of understanding. And it's interesting because the bigger companies understand it because they have to. They're spending money on advertising and marketing, so by default they're getting it. But the companies who maybe don't have all the funds to purchase like real marketing strategies, they really have a hard time getting it. And so on that end of things, no, there's a lot of businesses who really don't get it.
Interesting because we're brick and mortar. Based on how we're brick and mortar. We got like security systems, we got everything, right? Underwriters, risk analysts, big staff, and all that. We're also so when I first got online advertising wise, I didn't figure any of the other players in the process of business. We didn't know. And I got around like, whoa, these guys are dropping $1 million a month. Like,
crazy, right? Is it merchant
payment processing? Yeah. Like, you already know Square spends millions and millions, right? Stripe is everywhere. I mean, and even the other brick and mortar, like brick and mortar, like they're been advertised more than right. Basketball is everywhere. So it was my lack of information. Like, man, you gotta get information. I like to do a lot of videos as well because you can run ads. I can't compete quickly. They can run way longer, way more connected. Many more relationships than I do with banks and bigger players, right? LeBron may give him $20 million just because he played, you know what I mean? Right. LeBron won't give me nothing. I don't know LeBron. So video has been a way of having able to basically make myself unique, make our company, like brand our company, because nobody knows the owner. I mean, well, here people know Jack Dorsey.
Yeah.
But once I walk down the street, no one would know who No one would know who Jack Dorsey is. Maybe. But you got all kinds of other people no one knows. No one ever talks to you. So that's one way you can make yourself unique. I mean, you can sort of like put a face behind the brand, which has allowed me to create sort of like a niche market where people now come to us based on social media, etc. We have a sales team, but we used to be all brick and mortar, just door to door sales, which we still do. But I'm telling you, man, online, e-commerce, social media.
Question for you. So what's your opinion on all of black business owners out there who are afraid to put their face out there? Because I work with a lot of clients and they say that I'm not going to put my face out there. I'm going to hire somebody that's maybe Caucasian and maybe have them be the face of my company, like a mascot. And they don't think they'll get business because like
Interesting question. Because someone, there's a guy who just got last week.
Honey, I can't hold everything.
You know, he gets on this Zoom call with people, and he thinks, he's like, I think black Spanish or something like that. He's black, but he's like Latin or something. And he thinks that he's not getting sales because of that. And I told him, I said, well, if you're trying to be somebody else, you get on the phone, and you don't talk like that, that's not really your lingo, that's not really your manner, that's not really who you are, they can feel it. But I said, if you be yourself, even if it's broken Spanglish, broken Spanish, broken English, country as hell, no matter what kind of language you speak, some people will relate to that. They will see the authenticity in that. I'm black, I'm black, right? And to be honest with you, the majority of our clients are not like me. Right? They're not like me. So I think that you should be online because, I mean, think about it. Let's say we go to Europe a lot. But we all can sometimes people look at us like we're specimens, right? And I first I was putting it like that, right? And it's because we're unique, right? In certain countries, it's not a whole, like maybe half of a percent black.
Yeah.
So if you're black and people are coming to Detroit, Michigan, different places, they don't want to see it. They come from some Midwestern town where there's nobody.
You want to go in the car and come back get us?
I would say it's the same exact thing, right? They want something unique. So I think if you are other than, if you're black, no matter which one, I think you should be online. Like if I want Chinese food, I'm damn sure not going to the soul food restaurant. Right? I want to go to Mr. Ching, whoever they are, who speaks very little English, and get authentic Chinese.
I don't want to finish it. You finish it.
I don't want to get Italian food.
So you get stuck with the bag.
Or from Raheem, right? I want to get from Mr. Kahuri or whatever, you know what I mean? Making up name.
Yeah.
We go to Italy because we want Italian food. That's probably like my favorite food. I never have looked for a black person who is selling Italian food. Ever. Now, I want to get a haircut. I don't have a hair to cut, but I'm not going to anybody else, right? I'm going to a black person who understands my hair. I don't care if it's a psychologist, I don't care if it's a grocery store. If I want Nigerian food, I got a lot of friends in Nigeria. They have Nigerian grocery stores that sell specific food, right? And they're not hurting at all. They're drawing those audiences. So I think you should absolutely be online. I don't think you need to hire a mascot or to hide behind or put somebody else out there. I think those days are way old. Get out there, be unique, because if you put somebody else out there who's not unique, I think you'll hurt your business. So I think in order to make yourself unique, all this competition, mass marketing, the only way to actually be unique is to be yourself and put yourself out there.
You could not have explained it better. Authenticity is key, and I can, from a data standpoint, 100% see it. Like, people just don't care about the robotic, like, hey, I'm such and such to sell you so and so. I don't care about that. Like, I'm good on that. Like, I want to see like the actual business owner coming into the business, or like coming on the screen and saying, hey, here's how I built the business. Here's why I do what I do. I love it. I'm passionate, and show people through social media like who they truly are. And man, nobody likes to see somebody who's like awesome, crazy, outgoing, wonderful person online, and when they meet them, then they're a terrible person. That is the worst thing ever. So again, yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that one. Great answer. So
I agree with you know what even bring the camera inside the office. Show people, because the strike, most people don't even know who owns strike. It's two Irish brothers, right? Who started it. I don't know they were two Irish brothers who started it. But you would never be able to talk with them. You would never be able to talk with the decision makers in Stripe, PayPal, Square, Quicken, First Data. I can go Chase, Elevon. I could go on and on and on and on, because everyone is trying to almost be like this big, super large entity with no face.
untouchable.
Untouchable. So we take the camera in the office, meet the underwriter, meet the risk analyst, right? Have communication, lines of communication directly with the decision makers. Man, some people may not understand it, or of course they won't be able to evaluate it, right? But our clients, we're not trying to service the world, right? Our clients, they love it. They absolutely love it. We've never been able to talk to owners, decision makers, not alone, even coming to the office. So people love that, man. Matter of fact, they pay to come out.
Tell me all about it.
At 1.5 or
That's how valuable it is.
I see it. Like, guys like Hayden or anybody that comes to me, if they have their money that they work hard for and it's on the line, they want to know what's going on. I dealt with PayPal before. You don't have no contact. It's all automated. It's all robots. It's like, I don't even know how to.
It's like you're talking to robots who are reading scripts.
Yeah.
Some of them may be humans, but you know they don't have any authority to really do anything. And you're right. I was just supposed to Hayden, I think today, as a matter of fact. And as a result of building that relationship with Hayden, there's so much business that I send him business, he sends me business, right? It's based upon relationships, and honestly, it really came through social media. Well, I actually knew Hayden when he was like 16 years old. Never did, 16 years old. We never did anything. And then someone else brought him to me. Like, again, who I met through social media, right? And we've been partners, we've been servicing his company. He makes really damn good money, right? We've been servicing him forever. His entire crew, we're talking about like maybe up to 50 to 100 people. And some of his friends come to me also through social media, not through my social media, sometimes it's through his social media, right? So, man, I think you gotta be out there today because, I mean, you can't really compete with Meridian or EY when it comes to advertising dollars, right? Somebody like you guys who are on the ground level, who understand millennials and what you call Gen X or Gen Y.
Gen Y, yeah.
There it is right there. So, I mean, because I'm not Gen Y, I'm not a millennial, I may understand them, but I don't understand Gen Y that much either, probably, right? You guys are right there, you know what they like, you know what they eat, what they drink, you know how they think. So why not? Matter of fact, I'll probably do something with these guys too as well. So, social media. We connected to social media. My cousin who's here just left like 5 minutes ago. Since I've been in Detroit, we've been here since Saturday. He's like, man, and I'm appreciative of it. But they want to bring me to all these different places, talking to people about business, right? So I'm like, dude, you ever heard of Zoom? Like, man,
I don't need to be in there all the time.
it's like, dude, there's no way that I can drive here, then drive here. Dude, it's still good.
Yeah.
Right? We can make a video and shoot it to them, or we can just do something like that. I didn't realize, I thought everybody understood it. I went to a couple places, nobody in there understood it. So I think it behooves them to, because he's a physical fitness trainer. I'm like, dude, instead of just one-on-one with everybody, they can advertise way more than you having to be at 5 different events a night or every weekend. You're like, you drive around trying to make connections.
So it's a question. So all the business owners out there, the small businesses that can't afford marketing, we have meetings with tons of businesses, and they're at a point where they're okay. Let's say for example, Detroit potato chip companies. They sell potato chips online,
Right.
and their sales are down, and they don't know why their sales are down, and they need sales online. And we have a solution, but they can't really afford to pay our service. And we really want to help these businesses. And there's many of business owners like that. They need sales, and they just can't afford to hire this market. And it's just kind of unfortunate to see like that situation. Like, what do you have to say about that?
I don't believe in that. You can't afford it. I really don't believe in that because people will find a way. Here's the thing. So let's say the potato chip company makes, I don't know, let's say they make $200,000 a year. But now you're losing $100,000 because you have no sales. So what is it worth to you to invest in your business? Not my business, but your business. Is your business worth investing a few thousand a month to make $100,000, $200,000, or to not close your doors, right? To be able to put food in your children, on your children's table, clothes in that. So to me, I don't really survive because I don't have any money. I can't afford it. Even with people who come to us, I don't hate to say this, but we're in Detroit, toughest city. Right? And certain people, certain cultures have a different value system, right? You have to be educated. They say it's two roads, the school of hard knocks, or you can willingly be educated, right? Some people are just going to be left behind. Think about this. You guys look here? Okay. So, people talk about reunification. I grew up in downtown Detroit. I grew up in Detroit. People would, like, say 15 years ago, you couldn't come down to Detroit without getting beat up. They had all kinds of games, come on, Be Like Boys, Gucci Boys, blah, 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 all this other crazy stuff. But now people say, oh, gentrification, blah, blah, blah. Well, who was doing something? What were you doing with it? Like, you go to all these crummy neighborhoods and now they look beautiful because people are coming in and investing. But it's not like nobody had the opportunity before that. So what I'm saying is that if a person, if their business is struggling, right, when their doors close, because they didn't want to spend a fraction of what it takes to roll their business and keep the doors open, I think it's just too bad. To be honest with you. I don't really know how to say it. It's really too bad. I hear that. I only hear that among certain groups. To be honest with you, I think it's a lack of education. But when you go to other groups, they immediately recognize it. Oh my God, really? That's it? Cool, let's do it. Like, even me myself today, I never said I was always educated like this. If you got a kid with me 15 years ago, I might have been like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. And guess what? I don't have the money, but then go spend the money somewhere else. Right? But today, I'll spend what I need to spend in order to
Yes, I know. Thank you.
in order to grow my business. Because you always have to, I mean, think about it like this. When you go to the gym, right? You guys work out a little bit? If you work out for, say, 6 months straight, 3 to 4 days a week, you see results? If you stop working out for just a month, your results begin to sort of dissipate. It's the same thing in business. You got to keep investing.
I know. You're going up or you're going down. You're growing, you're dying.
So I think that I would say educate people as much as you can, but I do not subscribe to I don't have money because people have money. It depends on where they allocate it. So super excited to be with these guys. Maybe we can shoot some content. Right? So hopefully we can shoot some more content. There's a skating rink over here that we don't get a chance to see in Florida. So maybe we can walk over there and do some stuff too. But check these guys out. I'm going to put your Instagram handles in here. I want to make sure you get this. We got iPhones, right?
We can sit right here.
So we're gonna airdrop it. We're gonna airdrop the video, but make sure you get with these guys. If you're in Detroit, or if you're not here in Detroit, right? You have guys who understand the millennial and the Gen, what you call it, Gen Y.
Exactly.
Gen Y market. Get on it. Don't get left behind, right? Everybody use these guys.
Like the classic Chuck.
Right?
Classic.
See, he got, he got the Chucks on. He has like the dress shoes on. Right? So he understands what kind of market. He understands what kind of market. We got the streetwear industry. Got the holes. It's freezing out here. He still got the air coming in. The actual air conditioned jeans. Right? And here I am. So when you have somebody who understands that, it behooves you to take advantage of the opportunity or get left behind.
That was amazing.
That's amazing. See, listen, you cannot make any excuses. These guys, listen, it's Monday night. It feels like Sunday night, Saturday night. And these guys are getting ready. All this fun here they can be having. Right? Way out here having fun in Detroit. And these guys are getting ready to go work.
No, don't worry.
Right?
I want to go have some fun on the laptop. I want to go get that grind and shit about to plan on by 2020. Set some goals, set some new intentions, and got the numbers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
See you there?
So what's your advice for goal setting for 2020? I know big CEOs go offshore, they travel, and they think bigger and stuff like that.
Did you hear that, honey? say the question again.
How do you plan for the new year? What do you do as a business owner, as a couple, as husband and wife to plan for?
He said that he knows that some CEOs they go offshore and they plan and stuff like that. What would you say to that? So he was saying what are some suggestions or what's your concept on planning for 2020? He says some people go offshore and plan. Yeah. So we leave in a few days and we're gonna go offshore and we're gonna be offshore for about 3 weeks. We're gonna go to the Philippines and do a lot of brainstorming. I could have done it in Bali, but it was just me by myself. But it'll be myself, my lovely wife, business partner, his girlfriend, and we're gonna be brainstorming. I'm already I got notes, man, we need to do this, we need to do this. Can't keep doing this, can't keep doing that. And just it's hard for me to cram everything in. So I think we'll have enough time to you come up with some ideas. So there's a book called The Road to Less Stupid. I don't know if you heard of it. By Keith Cunningham. And Keith Cunningham says that, make sure I get this camera right. Keith Cunningham says that you should have thinking time. He has a chapter, I think it's chapter 4 or 5, and he calls it strictly thinking time. And so I think everybody really needs thinking time, where you just something you need to sit and think, because I'm like a scatterbrain, to be honest with you, right?
Like that.
You too?
Yeah, 100%.
and I could be all over the place. But when I just like, my wife is she's more of a thinker. I'm more of a doer, to be honest with you. I'm like,
That's hilarious. That's completely how I am.
you know what I mean?
My business partner's like that. He's more of a thinker.
Okay.
And I'm more of a doer. I'm taking the actions, we're getting it done,
Yup.
like at all costs.
Yep. I mean,
That's hilarious.
outside of jumping off of a building, I'll just go and do it.
Yeah, right. Yep.
She's more of a thinker, more laid back, slower
What's the
pace.
benefit of jumping off of a building?
Yeah.
Logic.
You
I have the logic.
plan it out right, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Because, like I'm the sales and marketing side, but we have operations, which you cannot not have
100%.
operations.
You have to have it.
So, yeah, man, the thinking is going to be super key. I think, matter of fact, after Christmas, I would say after the 26th or 27th, we probably won't be doing any more work. Not like we'll just be planning, thinking. We're going to create like some instructional videos and stuff like that. But outside of this, we're basically planning and thinking.
Yeah, that's cool. Pretty much same thing for me as well. That's you hit the nail on the head. I've got a couple of meetings on Thursday and Friday, but at this point, my meetings have begun to be like, let's grab a beer, let's grab coffee, like just those types of meetings.
Okay.
But other than that, same thing. Yeah, all planning, all like thinking, all trying to figure out what is going to be my plan of attack for 2020, quarter, everything. Like, what are all of my goals? What are all of my desires? And getting all of that out. So
there's a book, man. There's a guy who's from Canada, since we're close to Canada. Man, remember the book called 1-800? Remember the business called 1-800 I Got Drunk? You ever heard that term?
yeah, the junk man or whatever.
Yeah.
I got junk. Yeah.
So Cameron, that's his name, Cameron.
Okay.
I can't think of his first name. Something Cameron. And he wrote a book called Vision. I would suggest getting that book. Vision. Yeah. I haven't read the whole book yet, but the whole freaking concept, it's not totally new, but people put things together in a new format. And so sometimes like we get like stifled with our ideas because we have an idea but we don't have the exact how-to on everything.
Right.
I wouldn't let that stop me. And I think, just put the idea down. And I'm not saying just create the vision and it'll just happen.
Yeah.
But when you have the idea, I think your mind, with thinking time and over time, I think your mind will eventually come up with the how-to.
Yeah, you gotta think of it like, really, honestly, like just being real, like the how doesn't matter, regardless of what the industry is, what you're doing, what the actions are.
Right.
I think a really simple concept for that is go as far as you can see, and then when you get there, you'll be able to see further. It's like, and think of it like vision. Like I can only see so far down the street. Why would I be worried about what's on the next block? I can't even see. So like, I need to focus my attention on what's in front of me and get that, and then as soon as I get that, then I can worry or think about or anything else outside of that scope.
That's true.
Skill and growth.
There's another book, man, that so I was in Toronto a couple weeks ago. So you guys heard of John Maxwell.
Yeah.
So when I first got to Toronto, a client who does dropshipping picked me up from the airport and he recommended a book called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. Right?
Okay,
and I was like, okay, cool, I'll get it. So then I heard John Maxwell say that he was personally speaking to Simon Sinek, and he just kept making reference to that book and said it's an awesome book. So I have the book, and so far it's pretty damn good.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I think that's one of those kind of books that you want to read for, your planning, for your vision, for your goal setting. Because sometimes I can think of things and I'm doing things, but I don't necessarily put it in the proper words that someone else could. He puts it in good words, whereas a lot of, like he said, I can just give an example. He said that he went to a Microsoft meeting and he said like 80 to 90% of the people who were speaking at this meeting were all talking about how they can crush Apple. Right? That's all they're talking about, how we can crush Apple and be better than Apple.
Yep.
He went to an Apple meeting and he said no one was talking about how they can crush Microsoft.
They're probably talking about how they can get the biggest or how they can be the best in themselves.
That's it.
Yeah, nice.
So he talks about the infinite game where some other people or companies may be thinking about the finite game.
100%.
And that requires long-term thinking in my opinion. So I think that's a good
That's
book
sort
to
of the
get.
same concept as Grant Cardone's Dominate, Don't Compete.
Oh, I haven't. What is
You ever heard of that? Yeah,
I think I Dominate, don't compete.
He's probably that's like one of his concepts is dominate, don't compete. Like in a market, like you don't want to be competing. You don't want to be fighting with other companies. You want to be the best company. You want to be the number one. You want to have the best and be the best. That's sort of a similar concept. Like Microsoft, Microsoft was like, oh, we need to crush Apple. We need to be better than them. They were competing. And Apple was focusing on dominating their market and being the best they could possibly be in their market and offer the best they possibly could.
Okay.
So it sounds like a pretty similar scenario.
He didn't mention the word dominate, but I know what Grant is about dominating.
Right.
Like totally. Like
100%.
Want to crush.
Right.
To me, like when you say dominate, to me,
different word choice.
It sounds like, you know what,
Similar
I'm crushing
concept.
the competition.
Right.
That's what it sounds like. Where I don't think Apple has any competition.
Right.
What kind of phone you got?
Apple phone.
iPhone. We're recording with the iPhone. I even bought this DJI device from Apple, even though I don't think they make it. What kind of phone you have? Yeah, what kind of laptop?
Apple.
Apple. You got an iPad?
Yep.
I actually do not. My family does though, so
okay.
Apple family.
I got an iPad. You got an iPad? What kind of watch you got on? Apple. Anybody have any Microsoft products here?
None. No.
Right.
Nada.
So they just consist. I mean, and by default, I guess it just makes them the best.
Right. Right.
Like, come. My wife is always directing. So yeah, so check these guys out here. We'll definitely put the Instagram handles in here.
Get your to be over there.
Yeah, somewhere, right here, right? You gotta get your digital marketing together. You must invest. Dude, for the last, I don't know how many months, all I've been talking about is you must invest in yourself. You must invest in yourself. Now, you're speaking about Detroit, and you were talking about particular cultural markets, right? And here's the thing, man. So, like, you heard the 100 MME? So now I'm involved in these like various masterminds, these high-level groups or whatever.
Yeah.
I never had the opportunity to do it before, and I'm consistently hearing people who are way up there in terms of money and just a great lifestyle. Always talk about your environment is so important. Right? Your environment. That's what they keep talking about. Environment. I can relate to that because where I grew up, I mean, it might have been there, and maybe I didn't recognize it. I don't remember. There was nothing that was super positive in the environment besides maybe the church or the preacher, and that can go either way.
Time there, anyways.
Say it again.
You probably weren't spending that much time there, anyways.
I mean, I was probably spending too much time there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing: the church and business are kind of. Church is business, but it's two different things at the same time. Like if you put a church into a community, unless it's like a leader who's very business oriented, you know what I mean, and not just religious oriented, it kind of has a different effect on the community. But when he was saying, I mean, people keep saying that your environment is key, and so I went to a meeting in Arizona with all these entrepreneurs who are making really good money, and it was like 450 people in the room. There was only one me in the room, just one. And he says, like, I know a lot of you people pay, all this money to be here. Let's try to get the money. And he says that you don't pay. He says, we don't pay for who's going to be in the room. We pay to be here for who's not going to be in the room. I was like, wow, I never heard that concept before. Some of these other groups that I go to, they consistently hone in on how important it is to rub shoulders with the right people, to be in the right environment. I'm consistently talking about that. So if you're born in an area, or if you're in an environment, I don't care if you're in college, if you're in the hood, or if you're in the suburbs, right? You have to put yourself in the right environment with the right people. It's not saying that everyone has to be making way more money than you.
Shit's wide open.
Oh, your book bag is open.
Yeah, the zipper's broken.
Oh, okay. So you have to invest and put yourself in the right environment, and that requires investing money. So maybe also for those people who don't understand how important it is to that's a hell of a thing, right?
Bless you.
Yeah, of course.
So if they don't understand how important it is, man, you know what? Maybe to have maybe do a Zoom video where you invite people, or maybe bring them out to a physical location and educate them on business, right? That could be another way. And then once people, what's the saying? Once you know better, then once you're aware, then you have better choices, you make better decisions. Something like that. Something like that. So I believe that as well, but I really do think that environment is super key, man. Like super important. Super important. I never really had that before, but now consistently I will pay way more. I will pay to put myself in an environment with people who know more than me or who are doing things that I've never done before in different industries. And man, sometimes when I hear, like I went to this meeting in California, I think in October or November, and when I heard some of the numbers and some of the things you guys were doing, I was like, damn, okay, whoa, I'm like behind the times or something like that. But also, a lot of what they were doing was because of the connections they had. And the circle, like one guy made $100 million without running an ad. Before he started running his first ad, he made $100 million. But he invested so much money before that to be in that circle. Like tons and tons of money to be in that circle. So he basically developed partnerships. You just can't walk up into a meeting with Dan Gilbert and some of the other people unless you've already paid your dues. Right? So if a person doesn't understand that concept and they want to invest in themselves initially, right? I don't think they're ready to grow.
No. And they also, I think it's also really important for that type of person to, the first part of getting to that, I think, is accepting where they're at, accepting where you're at, and saying, okay, this is actually where I'm at. Right. Now I can move forward. And if you don't allow yourself to accept where you're at and accept what you're doing currently and be okay with it and move forward, you're always going to come back to that thought pattern and action pattern. You're always going to be, you're never going to grow, you're never going to change because nothing is going to change. Like, if you want things to change, you have to change things in your life. If you want things in your life to change, you have to change things in your life.
You gotta change it.
Exactly. So,
it's almost like, where you want to, like, I would never, my family asked my wife, would you move to Detroit? I'm like, I mean, maybe downtown, in certain areas, but I would never be okay with paying $100 a month to live in Detroit because I already know what I'm going to get for $100.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to get shot. I don't want to get robbed just for walking in the house or anything like that. I hate to say it, but it is what it is, right? But I will pay extra to be in a certain environment that's safe for my family, my wife, for myself. And I think it's the same thing in business, right? If you want to be in the upper echelon, if you want to be quote unquote competing or be in the infinite game, or you want to stay in business, you must invest in your business. No question to it, man. So I think the education piece, that has to be it because I keep coming across certain cultural markets and I run into the same thing. I'm like, damn, I gotta educate. Like, you don't get it.
Question, even for the education though, I think it comes to the spiritual aspect because like, if your minds are right or if you're not teachable, then you can just be. And I've done it. I bought courses and they just sit. And I invested in myself. I buy mentorship. I buy programs. But like my mind's right now, or if I'm not aligned, and that investment's worth it.
I mean, I understand what you're saying because I just did a video with a guy not so long ago, and we were talking about alignment. Like on a base level, like guys are very superficial, so are women. But, we look at the outer, right? So you may see a nice backside, right? Nice donkey, right? Curvy and everything like that. What's up, man? Okay. Very curvy or whatever, right? Not understanding that that's just the external.
Right.
And then after a while you say, oh man, this didn't work out, or she's a B, or she's this, or she's that. Not understanding that you're in alignment with what you're going to attract, or what's right for you. You're not going to attract the most intelligent woman who's beautiful inside and out, unless you align properly. Right? So, you're right. They could buy those courses. They could buy the mentorship and things like that. I do believe in planting. I do believe that seeds grow. It could be a bad seed. It could be a good seed. It could be nurtured either way. I don't think it's a one-stop shop where, you buy the course, say, in June of 2016, and then you just stop. Right? You got to buy the course in June of 2016. 2017, 2018, because who stops investing in themselves?
Yeah, it gets unsuccessful.
I mean, I'm just thinking to myself for a second. Just think about it, like, we go to school. So basically, most of us go, I'm not gonna say most, but a lot of people go to public education. So the government basically is investing in us. Once we stop and graduate from high school, how many of us continue to invest?
Probably a small percentage.
Very small percentage.
Close to none, yeah.
Right, very small percentage, right? So,
What's up, man? You all right? Good to see you,
You
brother.
still making music?
of course,
Nice.
how you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Good. So you must continually invest in yourself. Continually invest in yourself. I swear to you, I must spend a couple $100,000 a year. Just consistently investing in myself. Consistently. Some money in my wife, some money in myself, anybody else I'm around, because I think that's the only way to keep going. If you stop growing, then what happens?
Go backwards. That's it.
Backwards. So you gotta keep investing in yourself, man. No other way to it. I'm not saying that I'm always in the books all day, because some people learn different ways. Some people are auditory, some people are visual, some people are kinesthetic. I think I'm a little bit of all. I like reading, right? I love listening. I love watching people. Also, I know I'm not an expert at almost anything, right? So I love working with people who know what I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. It's just sometimes being in that environment. Like I play basketball, right? If I go to a scrubby court and I keep playing with the scrub,
Yeah.
it's kind of become a scrub.
It is.
So I want to be, some of the people are doing bigger and better things. I may not duplicate everything they're doing, but some of them will rub off on me. And I remember many years ago making my first investments in myself, but it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe baby steps. Maybe baby steps. Because you're right, I mean, people aren't, not everybody's hopefully growing, you know what I mean? Since I've come back to Detroit, I've seen some people that look like they haven't grown at all.
Yeah.
But if they're investing, that's a start. I think it's a start.
I agree. And I
You
personally,
gotta
I
keep
think
nurturing.
100%. If you are willing to invest in yourself, that means that you're willing to learn. You're willing to grow and change. I think just that and what you're saying is the value.
Right.
If you are willing to grow and willing to accept where you're at, like I said, and change and you can invest in yourself, then you will grow. You will change. You will be where you want to be. You will be something different. Yeah, 100%.
I think that those people who invest, if you know that they've invested, I think now is the perfect opportunity to actually give them a little piece more. Because let's take, for example, in my industry, payment processing, right? For someone who's just starting out with PayPal, who's never had any issues, unless somebody refers them, they don't really appreciate what I have to offer. They're like, man, I haven't even made $1,000, or I'm only making $1,000. They don't have the appreciation of, someone not holding their funds, not being able to communicate. But once they started making money and they had their funds held and had their account shut down, now they're like, oh my God, who the hell can help me? How much does it cost?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just gotta catch people, where they are or meet them where they are. So check these guys out. Boom. A handy little dandy.